Catherine Turbis, and it is, although Raven the Rue is my pen name. The reason I happen to have a pen name is because I love writing. I've loved writing and been very interested in just making books and telling stories since the age of 8 years old, when I read the book by Kate DiCamillo, The Tale of Despero, which is about kind of the veneration of books and told from the point of view of this little mouse. And so I've just really loved the idea of being a writer. And I've written one book thus far. It's called Sophie Browne Isn't Dead, and I wrote it when I was 15 years old, the summer before last. It took about 5 months approximately to publish, illustrate, and write. And it's somewhat difficult to explain the plot, although in a nutshell, it's about a little girl named Sophie Browne who her brother dies, and she has a very difficult time making friends. So she comes up with these paranormal, dead, and ghostly imaginary friends. And to be honest, it's quite semi-autobiographical for my own life. I stole a lot of the same situations that happened to me for her identity. Such things as the dead brother, social difficulty, and the way in which she finds resolution. Coming to SBCPA, meeting new friends, and being inspired by my teachers have helped me to follow through with writing and publishing it. And somehow publishing it, I'm still very thankful for that, and I still don't really know exactly how that worked. But I owe that mostly to my mom and my literary agent, whose name is Shauna. I got it published through a company called Lulu, which is owned by Barnes & Noble and Amazon, although I don't know if it's completely owned by Barnes & Noble anymore, because there's a lot of stock market changing things that I don't know about. But it's still very new to me, even though it was published a year ago. And oftentimes when people ask me to introduce myself and tell something interesting, I'm like, well, I wrote a book. So that's kind of why I'm saying this now. At this point, I'm kind of in the nitpicky stage that a lot of artists go through. Since I did my own illustrations, even though I'm not that experienced, I go back and look at it and see, oh, the anatomy is wrong in this picture. Oh, her hand looks stupid, that sort of thing. But a lot of people told me that I would regret publishing something as an amateur, but I don't. I never could, even though I do notice the mistakes. I couldn't regret something that brought me closer to my friends and helped me make new ones. One such new friend was a boy named Sebastian, who lives in Belfast, Ireland. He contacted me last summer because his sister and his cousin read it, and he wanted to tell me because he found me on Tumblr, which is a blog. He told me that they liked it, and I was very glad. And later on, he contacted me around Halloween and said, "Is it okay if my cousin dresses up like a Sophie Browne for Halloween?" It was amazing, and then he eventually sent me pictures, and they're just the cutest things. Let's see here. Sorry. So, although people and kids seem to like it, although I don't think very many have read it yet, there actually is quite a lot of debate as to whether or not it's a book that should be for kids or not, considering the fact that it addresses death and bullying, which are real topics which is why I wrote about them and because they happened in my life. But I wrote it to be the kind of book that I would want my children to read or that I would be interested in. So I was the kind of kid who, when I was little, I would watch The Nightmare Before Christmas every day, literally, until my dad took it away from me, and then I stole it back. So, let's see here. And I know people are sensitive, and that's their own thing, and it really depends on the person as to whether they should read it or not, so I can't be the judge of that, I don't think. And if I tried to appeal to every single person in the world, it would just be pandering and not heartfelt, and it just would not be what it is. Last autumn, I did art crawl, and I'm doing that again this spring, and that's something where you display what you made, and so I'm doing that with the book this upcoming spring as I did last year. And since today is Valentine's Day, I also made a bunch of Sophie Browne Valentines. And actually, this bracelet here is what I call the Sophie Browne bracelet because of the fact that in almost every illustration, she's wearing both a string of pearls, like a necklace, which I don't have, and a little purple bracelet, which I do. So, with those little things with art crawl and Valentines and drawings and the bracelet, it's kind of an ongoing project for me. And I do have other stories in the works, but they need to germinate and just, I can't promise anything soon, I promise. But in conclusion, Sophie Browne is an enormous part of my identity. It brought me closer to my friends and helped me make new ones. And it helps me express myself and to tell my story. And that is why I'm ending with a quote from the book. So my dear, I leave you with this advice. Be yourself and always be nice, because if you're looking for a friend, that is what they'll first comprehend. But you may ask me, so how do you know? Well, I'm Sophie Browne, and I told you so. Okay.